Welcome to another Figuring Out Japan video, and in this video I will be reviewing the Lego Nintendo Game Boy, what you see here in the foreground. Now generally I'm not a fan of what I call the Legofication type sets, things like, plants or video game consoles, because A, they are typically much more expensive than the real thing. And secondly, they don't look as good because it's a blockier brick version of something that is real. So generally I'd say, hey, if you want something like this, just go out and buy the actual thing that you want. But this one did appeal to me because the price difference is actually very minimal compared to the real thing. And secondly, the actual Game Boy is very blocky and bricky, and so it very much does suit the Lego universe. So the price of this set is $60 is the retail price. As of the time of this video, that is about 90 Australian dollars. The actual price that Lego charge is 100 Australian dollars. There's always a bit of a markup. Do I think that is a good price? Absolutely not. My general rule is that take 20 to 30% off and you get something that's roughly in the right ballpark. I've noticed that most retailers in Australia actually sell this for $79. That's just the standard price they sell it for. And, they sometimes put them on special for even cheaper. So I think that's a reasonable price. So that's roughly kind of 50 US dollars. Because, that's about the price of a Nintendo Switch game. So that just seems reasonable to me. The displayability of this set is absolutely fantastic. From a distance, you can't even really tell that it's even Lego. And you also get to video games with this as well. And you also have 3 lenticulars, which I'll show inside the Game Boy as well. So remember, if you bought the actual Game Boy, then it's just going to show a blank screen unless you have it on. You put batteries and have it on. From what I've seen, I had a very quick look, but to buy an actual Game Boy probably will cost you around $50. So yeah, it's roughly the same price. Now, of course, that is for a second-hand, worn out-of-box Game Boy. If you want one that's brand new in box, you're going to pay a lot more than that. I mean, you could even spend a couple of grand potentially getting a brand new mint Game Boy, especially if it's a rare clear version or something like that. So, but if you just want one that's going to do the job as a display piece, then there are actually benefits still with the Lego one, even though it might be just a smidgen more expensive because you get the games to display as well, although the games you can pick up pretty cheap as well. So the building experience was really fun. I actually built this with my partner, which I've never done before, and they struggled a little bit because a lot of the pieces are the same color and they look similar, but they're slightly different. They're all a similar size, so I had to make a few corrections along the way. But I think in general, it's so easy to build Lego these days. They have the instructions are so clear, and they tell you what pieces they use. I built the original vintage Lego pirate ships that are 900 plus pieces, and they have 36 steps. That's it, and it's just one picture, next picture, and you just have to spot the difference. So yeah, and of course there are a few different components to it. You have the Game Boy, you have the stand, you have the cartridge, you have another cartridge, and you also have a stand for that too. It's a bit of a shame that they only allow you to build one stand here, but you can very easily just, display the cartridge like that, which I do. You can, of course, put the cartridge inside the Game Boy, but the disadvantage of that is then you can't see it if you display. So yeah, and of course you can put the cartridges in and out, give it a good old blow the dust out. If you know, if you're from that era. And the lenticular itself, so this is the Legend of Zelda lenticular, and this is Link and Marin. It's not Princess Zelda, actually. So that's the character from this game, which is also, there's also a remake of it on the Nintendo Switch, which many of you will know it by. And then the other game that you get is the Super Mario Land game. Yeah, shame they maybe didn't give you like a Donkey Kong Land or something like that, but you know, I think 2 is enough and it's a solid choice. Of course, Pokemon didn't come out until much later. But yeah, I think a good variability. And the way that you change the lenticular is actually, before I do, you'll notice there's a code here. And that code is actually a date. So in Japan, they go year, month, date. So this actually is 1989, April 21st, which, as you may have guessed, is the day that the Game Boy came out. So all you have to do is take that single piece off, which is a print, no sticker. And then there's this kind of hinged piece that you can move out, and then you can take the lenticular out. So very easy to do that. There are no stickers on this, so these are all prints, which is really nice. You've got the headphone jack, you've got the volume wheel, which you can spin. You've got the contrast wheel, which changes on the actual thing. It changes how light or dark the actual screen is. And then listen to this. There's even the clicking sound of the on-off. So it's very well done. The buttons you can press, they do actually stick out, as you can see there. And you also have the start and select buttons. Are very easy to download the instructions and see if you want to see how it's built. And then interestingly, with the D-pad, they actually left these. They didn't put, you know, smooth pieces over the top like they did with the rest of the Game Boy. So maybe they just wanted to leave that there as some indication that, hey, this is actually Lego. So, you know, look, it's pretty gimmicky, but I've had a few people come around and show them this, and, you know, they have a good laugh and a good little, you know, play. And it's, you know, Lego have really, it brings a smile to people's face. A lot of people old enough to actually remember these might actually have one of these. So, yeah. Now, the game cartridges do have stickers. So these are the only 2 stickers. And my suggestion with these is, when you put it on, start either with the top or the bottom and line it up with the edge and the left and the right. Because what I did is I actually tried to line it up with the left here, and then I thought, it looks about right. And then I put the sticker on, and then when I got to the other side, I realized that it's not really noticeable, but it's slightly too far to the right. And I didn't want to then kind of peel it off and then potentially damage the sticker. Although I did notice the stickers do seem quite thick and durable. But yeah, I would suggest either laying it from the top or the bottom. But anyway, that's a rough sort of indication of how much margin to leave around the sticker. Yeah, but it look, I mean, I think that's reasonable that they went with a sticker with that. I think it'd be too much to expect them to print that. But I did just want to show you quickly what can happen with stickers over time. So this is a set from, I think, 2012. It's the Lego Ferrari truck. And you'll notice how the stickers have kind of peeled up. They're kind of fraying at the edges, and they're also fraying here. Now, you can actually see here it's cracked. If I actually touch this right now, it would actually just crack and kind of disintegrate. And you can see here as well how it's kind of peeling. So the stickers, stickers do peel. Now, in fairness, this is obviously a very old set, but I have not stored it in direct sunlight. I have not stored it in a moist area. This just happens over time, admittedly a very long time, but it does happen. So, this is why I think collectors don't really like, stickers when it comes to Lego. But thank you so much for watching this review of the Lego Game Boy. Let me know what you think. Is there anything that you would suggest that you like about it, which you don't like about it? Are you planning to get it, or have you already got it? Or do you remember the days of the Game Boy? Leave a comment below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.